Hey everybody, what I'm talking about today is making and using an evacuation map. To make an evacuation map you need three things: a map, a highlighter, and a pencil. Making an evacuation map is relatively simple. What you want to do is start with your place of business or your home and pre-mark escape routes that you can take in the event you need to evacuate. In this case, the center location of the map, or the location that we're going to evacuate from, is the intersection of North and South Addison Avenue in Lexington, Kentucky. Now, I recommend in a normal situation where you don't have impeded traffic flow that you have at least one artery, one traffic artery in each of the cardinal directions that you can evacuate to. If you live in a place like a barrier island that has restricted ability to get off the island, for example, if you live on the beach side in Daytona Beach, and your primary evacuation is going to be going to the mainland in Daytona, you might want to have 2 or 3 bridges that you can get to the mainland from the beach side. Barrier islands everywhere that way. If you're trying to get inland, you want to have 2 or 3 bridges that you can plot a route to get to. The map we're using today is a custom-made map that was done using a United States Geological Survey base map data with some additional things that are added to it. There's several companies that will do this for you. This particular one's done on a water-resistant paper. The problem with using United States Geological Survey data is that sometimes it's not up to date. Some of the commercial map producers will make more up-to-date or more current maps, but they won't have necessarily some of the hydrologic and topographic data on them that I like to have on my maps for evacuation. But you can use any map. The only requirement for the map is that you need to have actual street names. You need street level data on it. You need to be able to see what street you're on and be able to identify those streets and count streets and those kind of things in case you have to deviate from one of your prearranged routes. But today we'll be starting at the intersection of North and South Addison Avenue in Lexington, Kentucky, and we've already pre-marked routes in our 4 cardinal directions. We've got US Highway 27 to the south, US Highway 60 to the west, Interstate 75 to the north, Interstate 64 to the east. And you'll notice that I've plotted the way that I plan to get to each one of those arteries on this map in a yellow highlighter. The reason for that is you want to be able to have an idea of the direction you need to go before you ever have to use this map. And you want to be able to quickly make reference to this map in a stressful situation to determine which way you need to go. For somebody like me that travels 5 or 6 days of the week on all these routes, I know them by heart, but some other member of my family may not know that. They may not know how to get out of here. The second reason you want to pre-mark them, and the reason this map is mounted on the wall near where my go bag is located, is if a evacuation situation becomes imminent, I want to be able to mark in pencil hazards that I might face. For example, say that my neighborhood had to evacuate because a train carrying chemicals crashed on the railroad tracks that are within about a mile of my home. I could mark that on the map and use that to help determine which of these 4 routes would be best for me to make my evacuation. Each situation is going to be different, but the important thing is you want to have an ability to put information on this map that you can use immediately prior to an evacuation. When I evacuate, this map comes off the wall, gets rolled up and comes with me in my vehicle along with my go bag. And then the person who's designated as the navigator in that vehicle is going to be the one that's going to help us get through this map and see where we're going. One of the considerations when you're plotting these routes to keep in mind, and you'll notice with my particular southern escape route here, that southern evacuation route that I have marked is not the most direct route to get to US 27 out of town from the initial starting point right here. That would be to go across some of these surface streets and just to go directly down US 27. There are two reasons for that. One is that this railroad track that runs through here can potentially obstruct a number of the cross streets. The second thing is this group of buildings here is the University of Kentucky. And this section of US 27 between the University of Kentucky and New Circle Road, the inner perimeter road in Lexington, Kentucky, is extremely congested during large parts of the day, and in a situation where I would need to evacuate, the University of Kentucky is likely to need to evacuate as well, which could obstruct this road even further. So I've got an alternate route that takes US 68 to the secondary perimeter road of Man o' War Boulevard, and then I can take that around US 27 and take US 27 south if I need to do a southern evacuation. But that's really all there is to it. You just need to have a pre-marked route on a map that has street level names, and then you can use a pencil to write information on the map itself. If there's a particular area you need to mark, you can circle it, exit, do whatever code makes sense to you at the time. You can make a notation of what you've done in the white borders around the map or some of the blank space in the map if you have a commercial map. And the other thing that you can do with this blank space around is if you have evacuation instructions that you're hearing from local emergency management, or particular things you need to do, or particular radio frequencies that you've agreed in advance with your preparedness network to use during the evacuation, you can write those things down on the map and have that handy for your navigator who will be assisting when you evacuate.